Okay, good morning. This will be a microscopic examination. It's important before we actually try to replenish the crucible with more material, and also use these two new crucibles with a variety of material. But before that, we actually need to know, what's the starting situation. And also, this is also done in order to actually check to see the effect of adding a little bit of carbonated drink, which in the form of cola zero with a little bit of CO2, not much, and also baking soda, and also added actually a little bit of oil and water and sugar to a new container that half of it was filled with the water from and a little bit of other material from the metal aquarium. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look at the sample. One of the samples is the sample of the water from the aquarium before all this. Wait a second. We have an issue of violence, so we need to close the door. Just a second. We lock the door. So now the door is locked. Of course, this person can, of course, break into the room, and it will be an immediate Holocaust all over the globe. We, the Arabs, do not know where Israel is on the map. We cannot find it in our map. If the guy will break into my room, and if he has done it more than once, and others have already did it, and I had to call the police more than once, this will be an immediate Holocaust all over the globe. We do not know where Israel is located. We do not know what is Israel. We do not have a microscope which is strong enough, with enough magnification power to actually find Israel. It can happen any second. It can happen any second, and it will be around the globe. Any second and around the globe. Any second and around the globe. Any second and around the globe. No credit, no postponing, no delay. Any second and around the globe. The retaliation will be any second and around the globe. It will only take a second. It will only take a second. Of course, such occurrences of violence are standard in my life. Mostly they happen by the people that are paid by the Americans to protect me. Mostly. I don't know if it's also the case in this case. This guy named is Yaakov. I don't know if it's the same in this case, but I wouldn't be surprised, because by experience, the people that are financed by the Americans to protect me are the ones that are treating me in the most violent way and most abusive way. And again, any second he might break into the room. It already happened in the past, not only him, others as well. And I called the police more than once. But now we are in a time where there is zero credit and zero waiting time between action and retaliation. The retaliation is all over the globe. All over the globe. The retaliation for violence is all over the globe, and it's immediate. It can occur any moment, and it will be immediate, and it will be all over the globe. We do not know where Israel is located. Our maps do not cover Israel. It's too small for us. We do not have microscopes that have enough magnification power in order to find Israel. And we are not planning to make any effort to find Israel. Retaliation for violence against our representative is all over the globe and is immediate. It's all over the globe and is immediate. Immediate. We do not discriminate between races, colors, genders, and religions. No. The entire population of the blue planet will be the object of our retaliation, and it will be immediate. 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 As I was beginning to say, since I've added a new container with water. This is actually the new container right here. You can see it. You can even see some bubbles. I mean, either because mostly because of the soda, the baking soda, because actually the cola zero that I added was it was an old bottle that didn't have many gas or so you see it's not much gas here, so I think that most of the bubbles that you see are by reaction from the baking soda with the water. Not many bubbles, but you can see some bubbles here. And as also say, as I've said, salt and sugar. I will do the same actually with the salt water container, and I will use this one here, this empty jar that I have here, for very similar treatment of liquid from this container. This is the salt water container, and so one of the slides will actually be is taken from the salt water container. The aquarium, the sample is taken before all the materials were added in order to, so of course, in a week or two we can have like a comparison and see, if actually, all this kind of like new material, significantly changed what we can find inside the container. So, and although I've taken 6 samples because I wanted to take 3 samples, 3 slides that were dedicated to the wax. Just to remind you, I have like 3 metal containers that contains mixtures of varying proportions of clay, wax, and all sorts of other material, but mostly clay and wax, mostly beeswax and wax with honey. And so, and this is actually the material that I use in order to enrich the crucible. I've used it last time. I used it when I prepared the crucible for the first time, and like after about a month, which happened like about a week ago, after the first, approximately a day or two after the first metal jacket was created, I've seen that the neos are depleted, like there are no more neos. And so the theory was that maybe they died because of I don't know why. Maybe they were just, I don't know, or maybe just unlucky sample, and maybe just a theory that we need much more experiments in order to actually validate the theory. Maybe what's actually happened is that the neos themselves became the bug, and it's actually supported both by morphology of things that you can see actually, how to change the shape, but also because of the fact that we see on the bug, the body of the bug, there are many neos. So obviously, they are, it's part of the, it's kind of a life form that, is similar to me in a way that, it contains many neos. And also, should be, I reminded you that, another theory that, some of them actually became eggs that inform the eggs. From some of the eggs, the full metal jackets are hatching. And that's why I've said that, I'm going to prepare an ikra sandwich, like, sandwich with the paste of eggs of fish, not really fish, like, eggs of full metal jacket. But what I've seen like a couple of decades ago when I'm taking samples from the crucible is that there are actually we didn't find any neos in 2 samples, if you remember. So maybe they were again depleted after at least 2 more full metal jackets are created, because we've actually seen it like in my own eyes, but maybe much more. I don't know how many were created, because we have only seen like the ones that entered the room, of course, but and it's outside, so maybe like there are hundreds who were created. I don't know. In any case, the proven way to actually replenish the crucible with neos is, first of all, cover it with oil, which I've already did, and also on top of it, like put like a nice like layer of the wax from the metal container, because the wax should contain many neros and some life forms, but not that many, because it's there is no oxygen. But what I want to do is actually to verify this is actually true, because there was some time that passed. I mean, since we last we've taken samples from the crucible, from the metal container. So I've taken like 3 slides from the 3 with wax. So it will be like that. The first one is just from the crucible to see what's going on over there. The second is from the salt water container, and the third, the fourth, and the fifth are all were all taken from the 3 metal containers with the wax, which mostly contain wax and clay, and the last one is water from the aquarium, from the metal aquarium. So let's start. Probably I'll do it in separate videos, just one after the other, just for logical purposes. But let's start with the one from the crucible. Last time we didn't get much. We didn't see much. Maybe now we see more. Maybe it was just unlucky, or maybe just depleted. Anyway, let's take a look before we actually do. We replenish it with stuff from the wax container. Again, violence was always, a threat, something, a looming threat over me, and many times it was actually materialized. That's the way I live, that's the way, the people of this earth, chose this life for me. So it's not new, but it's getting horrible, with time. I'm under arrest, I have nowhere to go for a crime I did not commit at all, and even if I did, it's nothing at all. Even if I would have done it, it's something minor, unbelievably small, that happened 10 months ago, and I have no criminal record at all. So, of course, it's not really, I'm a prisoner of war of the Israelis, and I'm under torture in this place, where I'm under house arrest. I cannot leave the room, and always under violence. So you should understand, I am a representative of another species that is stronger than you tremendously, and the retaliation is around the globe, not against the Israelis. The retaliation is around the globe, because we don't know what's Israel. It's too small and too insignificant for us to actually even think about it. The retaliation is all over the globe, and it's immediate. The only way to actually make sure that I will not be subjected to terror, to violence, and to abuse of any kind is to get me out of here, me and my daughters, and there is no way to do it besides moving arms and legs. If the mouth is open, if the tongue is moving, there is 0 chances that I will ever be rescued from this hell. Just a moment, I'm just I'm calibrating the microscope. I messed a little bit, in a good way with the handles, so it's less jittery than before, but it's still very, very dirty, the lenses. So I need to clean it, and of course, if I had money, I would vote a much better microscope. But for now, we'll have to do with this one, the only one that I've ever had. Again, I bought it 3 or 4 years ago with the Bresser 1 microscope, and it's doing its due duty. I don't have any, I only have these eye lens, the 16 When I bought it, I had like 2 others that are smaller magnifications, but that's the way I have it right now. And you know, the object lenses are, I mean, X4, X10, and X40. And you can also change magnification by using this tube here, but I almost never do it because, like pulling the tube, but I almost never do it because it's difficult to do it when I use the iPhone. I don't have any kind of, like, I mean, way to connect the iPhone, like the iPhone, that's, I mean, the only camera that I have right now to the machine. So I just like use it, like, I mean, you know, with my hands. That's why it's kind of like shaky, and sometimes I just, I mean, I don't have like any kind of, like, I mean, it's not really comfortable. Earlier, I mean, when I in this channel, I mean, before, while I was in house arrest in another apartment, I also used sometimes the EPM2 camera with 40mm punking lens. So some videos, I mean, from January and February are with, like, I mean, I recorded with the EPM2 camera. But anyway, for a long time now, I only have this the iPhone 13 camera, and that's what I do. And we'll have to do with that. Again, this was taken from a Crucible, like about an hour ago, or 2 hours ago. Mostly from the oil layers that are, I mean, like in the bottom, not in the upper layers. A small iPhone. But this is either a Neo or an egg, I don't know. What do you think? Or maybe just an oil stain, I don't know. Difficult to say if it's a Neo or an egg or an oil stain. Something, I mean, about it, like resembles a Neo or an egg by the fact that, I mean, the focus change is different, like, so it hints us towards like the option of Nero. So we'll see the train, the sausage. These looks like either, I mean, they don't look like Neros because there are so much, like, there's so much things inside of it. So maybe it's an egg, I don't know, what do you say? Is that an egg or a Nero or just an oil stain? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say because I don't have much, I mean, I have more experience with, you know, with the Neros, but this is kind of something different. Maybe it's an egg, maybe it's an oil stain. This certainly looks like a Nero. Some people ask me in the comments, I mean, why sometimes you see Nero inside of another Nero. So this is actually extremely common. I mean, it happens a lot. Like, I mean, so many cases. So it's kind of like natural. I mean, I cannot really say why. I mean, but, I mean, why not? I mean, there is the option of the I mean, no, that they're just one on top of the other because it's 3D environment, and there is the option that they're, I mean, one is swimming inside of the other one. And there's an option that, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, that is target that, I mean, that you actually let you see is in another plane, like in teleport, like in another place, and the light is teleported through it. So the Neros, I mean, what you see are actually Neros that from another side, like I mean, from the other side of the portal. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be like portal that is directed, you know, to another planet. It can be a portal that directed maybe just another place in the slide, you know. But it can also explain why, I mean, many times you see Neros inside of other Neros. Okay, all in all, not much Neros, certainly, I mean, if at all. I mean, we almost haven't seen, like, we see here more, like, I mean, smaller ones, which is nice, but overall very poor in Neros, which is something that we already knew about this Crucible, so it's not, like, new to us. So, okay, we're not taking another sample from this Crucible, because this is, I mean, consistent with what you already know, but, I mean, it was depleted. I mean, maybe they were all, I mean, you know, metamorphosed to eggs, and maybe they were needed in order, I mean, to create the eggs because, I mean, you know, obviously the full metal jacket is made of the Neros, as we've seen in kind of in its autopsy. Maybe other reasons, but in any case, I mean, this issue, we need to add Neros to the Crucible. And again, the way to do it is, I mean, I can add stuff from the metal content from the aquarium, like water, but I mean, it will not be easily, I mean, burned. I want something that is, like, I mean, that will be melted very quickly and, I mean, mixed with the oil. So that's why I prefer to use stuff from the various box containers. But, so that's why, I mean, just in order to verify that they actually contain Neros, like we've seen in the past, I've taken 3 samples. But before we actually review these 3 samples, let's take a look at a sample from the saltwater container. I will remind you that in the past we've seen amazing results like in it, like huge life forms like dragons, you know, very impressive shots we had. But the problem is, I mean, and very big Neros, but the problem is that, I mean, it's always sealed because, and actually this one I cannot like stand even the thought that it not be sealed because it must be sealed like airtight because the smell is unbearable. It's the most stinking like one that I've, of all of like the containers that I ever had. So after the last time, I mean, I've actually diluted it with P. So now it's much more diluted, but let's hope you will still see nice things. And again, I mean, after I'm done with these batch of videos, I will take some, I mean, if we don't see like extinction event, if we actually see Neros now in the sample from the saltwater container, what we will do is I'll prepare a new container, I mean, in this jar, this small jar, based on material from the saltwater, but I will do it, like, I'll give it the same treatment that I have with this water from the aquarium, which means baking soda, cola zero, carbonated cola zero, sugar, and salt, and a little bit of oil. But let's start with just water. I mean, just a sample from the like saltwater container, the way that it is right now. So not much action by now. Not many Neros. Maybe it was a mistake to dilute it so much with P. I don't know. Maybe we should redo this experiment with more fresh water from the ocean, but I can't go there because, you know, the police, I mean, is guarding me now I cannot leave the house even for a second. And, you know, the police is all like, already came to here and in the middle of the night, I mean, to terrorize me with all sort of like investigation. So it's really not the time for any kind of like, any journey outside this room. So we don't see Neros at all, which is a concern. We need to think why it happened. Maybe just, a bad sample from this container. So let's see, maybe I'll take more samples from this salt water, and this time with kind of like more diversity of places. Because by now we don't see Neros at all, and this is not what we've seen in the past. So something happened in this container. Again, I would say that much of it was taken from other experiments, and the replenished with just P and water. So maybe it kind of just diluted that content, and they couldn't multiply for all sorts of reasons. We need to think why. Maybe we'll just start. Maybe we'll conduct analysis of what's happening here later. But yes, it's not. These are not good news for the saltwater container. Now, what I'll do now, before I actually continue with to the three VAX slides, let's take a look at this sample from the aquarium waters. So this is actually something that, what you see here is definitely Neros, and this is Neros of the type that you see in my P. And this is actually not that surprising because much of the water in this container is actually based on my P. It's not on water, but my P. It's my P as the main substance, and also oil and wax layer that was formed in the top. But the liquid itself is mostly my P, so it's not really that surprising that you see Neros that look like Neros that you can find in my P. But these ones are of oval shape. Maybe they are transforming into something, I don't know. But these are definitely Neros or Neros, that are transforming in the process of transformation. We don't see very fat ones actually here, but we see pretty big ones, but not fat ones. Not of the very fat variety. This is a sausage, not a big one, but a sausage. And this is kind of like an animal, which is very nice. We don't see much animals, and this is most probably because of the fact that there is no oxygen in this tank. And we know that, only with oxygen, you get really diverse, big life forms and diverse one. This is certainly a Nero, and you can see the very nice, the Stargate property. Let's zoom in. So nice, very nice. Maybe we'll zoom in even more. Touch it very gently with this. So maybe you will see flow that are Yes, so the flow is characteristics after you touch like the glass with with the lens. Many times you see flow. Certainly in like higher magnification. But we've lost the Neo. I mean, where is he now? I don't know. So let's get back to 64 because I cannot see much in this magnification. So nice, we see a fat Neo and another fat. So yeah, we not huge ones, but certainly healthy ones, which is great. It means that if there was kind of like an extinction event, it wasn't. It didn't happen in the metal aquarium. Maybe because of the fact that it's made of metal. So if there was like radiation or something, it blocked it. I don't know. Maybe. Another like egg-shaped Neo, very nice. This one is moving, of course, very nicely moving. It's very interesting the way that it moves, actually, right? Do you agree with me? Like, this is very nice. Actually, this is uncommon, like, movement pattern that is very common, actually, to air bubbles, but it's certainly not an air bubbles because if it was an air bubble, you wouldn't have seen the texture like in the middle of it. This is a Neo for certain. It's not an air bubble. Even though the movement is it's something that you could see in air bubbles, but this is not an air bubble. Because otherwise, there wasn't that texture like in the middle, in the middle of it. This is a Neo for certain. Let's try to zoom in. This was actually very interesting in like this movement. Of course, we can touch it like with the maximum magnification lens, and it will probably move even more. Yeah, yeah, so it also revolves, I think, which is interesting, which is very interesting actually. One second, now I touched it and I think I lost it. Like, probably gone with the flow. Let's see 64 again. Yeah, so it's moving with the flow very nicely, actually. I don't know, can you understand anything of it? I don't know, it's interesting. What can you make of it? It's actually very interesting. And not really common, like, this is another one which is very beautiful and big. So we see very beautiful and big ones. So yes, it will be interesting to see, what will be the effect of all the kind of the carbonated thing that we've placed inside it, and the soda, baking soda, and sugar. But certainly it's a lively, it's a lively kind of a mixture, very successful, which you already know. And if there was like an extinction event, it didn't happen in the metal container, which is great. But we don't see many knife forms, and this is of course consistent with what we know regarding oxygen deprived containers. Again, for the Neros, probably they don't have problem with the lack of oxygen at all, even though we know that too much oxygen actually is bad for them. But for the life forms that they create, it's not the same. Wow, this is really beautiful. So we have many beautiful ones actually. And this is like another life form with kind of like a skull of something, I don't know. Looks like a skull, right? Okay, so certainly very, 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 very nice, like, slide, and after two kind of disappointing, the first one I knew about it, that, the Crucible is devoid, but, no surprises, but, the second was also pretty dead, but this one is in much better condition, and this is very interesting because this one looks like is like a pupa, like, small, like a small metal jacket that's, let's zoom in, I don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe over-interpreting. Is this a pupa? You know what's a pupa, right? I mean, it's the kind of, I mean, it's the first stage, I mean, like in the, no, I don't know if the first, maybe the second, like in the cycle of, like, you know, of things like bees and like a youngling of the bee. That, I mean, is that a pupa? I don't know. What do you say? I mean, it's certainly something alive, but what is it? I don't know. Very nice. And, you know, more Nero's nice ones. Okay, so excellent slide. Will be incredibly interesting to see, like in a week or two, or even more. I mean, what's happened like in this container with these waters, but of course all the other material. So I will stop the video now, and I'll soon start a new one. Just, I mean, you know, for logical separation, in which we will actually take a look at this at the three slides that from the metal containers that mostly, I mean, that is based on wax. They are important because they are used as, like, I mean, again, they are used to replenish the crucible, because, I mean, of the fact that they should contain a good amount of Nero, but also they are, I mean, they can be burned very quickly. And actually, they burn much better than actual wax, because it's enriched wax. It should be reminded, it's enriched wax. It's wax that is burned much better than regular wax. If there was kind of like, I mean, an extinction event in these containers, or hopefully not, I mean, what we will need to do is to replenish. I mean, we will still, I mean, we'll be able to replenish the crucible, but using the water from the aquarium, and we have plenty of it because it's a huge aquarium, but it will be burned much. I mean, not as well, and so I really hope that we will see, I mean, many Neros in at least, I mean, one of two, or not all the three of the samples from the wax. Let's do it, I mean, in a minute or two. Again, please rescue me and my daughters from the Nazi hell. We are prisoners of war in a Nazi hell, subjected to torture, both physical and psychological. I have no rights, no right of free speech, no free vocation, and certainly no equal stand before the law. I need to be rescued, and this can only be done using arms and legs. Arms and legs, not mouths and tongues.